button because Murray was
We on?
Murray.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
myself, get going.
Call to order the meeting of the Charter Commission for the town of Harwich, May 28th, 2026, 6:30 PM. We have a quorum. And we also have today, we have Jim Merriam, who is a former, well-respected town administrator for Harwich,
Very kind of you.
to chime in on what he thinks. So the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you.
Wanna do
What?
minutes? Oh,
Okay, 1 minute, all right. Minutes for May 21st. Motion?
motion with the change.
Okay, motion to approve, okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Paul
Okay.
Doan was in attendance and Hassan was absent.
Came in late, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He came in late.
But he was
He was
present.
there.
Other than that, they're fine.
Okay, with that correction, any other corrections? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, any opposed? Great. Okay,
Great.
now,
Thank you for the opportunity to come here this evening and chat with you. I thought I'd just give you a quick thumbnail sketch of my background, and it might trigger some questions that you're dealing with. So, I had 5 communities in my career over 37 years. They all had various charters, so I've had a lot of experience, the whole gamut, actually. I started in Holden in 1973. Worked for one of the in the town manager's office. Holden was one of the first communities in Massachusetts to have a town manager form of government. Still had an open town meeting. My title was Planning and Research Assistant. From Holden, I went back. I was encouraged to go get a grad degree. So I went to the University of Southern California, one of the top 5 schools in the country for public administration. Graduated with a 4.0, which I'm proud of.
Nice.
Interestingly enough, the first night I was on campus, there was a protest riot going on in 1976, and the Iranian students were throwing books out of the bookstore in protest of the Shah of Iran. So it goes back a ways.
Goes around, comes around.
We haven't gone very
full
far, have we?
circle.
Coming back from Southern California, I took a job as assistant town administrator in Walpole for 6 years, and then another 17 as town administrator. Walpole was about 24,000 population. I did serve as acting treasurer for a year when the treasurer had a stroke. In that role, I also served as agent to the Sewer and Water Commission. So it was an interesting dynamic, reporting to 2 major boards. You can just imagine where that goes. Walpole has 150 representative town meeting members. So most of my career was with RTM. From Rentham, going to Rentham was the next stop, 2002 to 2005. That was a town administrator position with an open town meeting. From there, I went to the city of Attleboro and worked for a new mayor. Mayor was 29 years old, no municipal experience, gave me keys to the city to run it. So that was an interesting experience. I'd never been in a city form of government before, so that was a council mayor form. And then from Attleboro, I came to Harwich. Was here 2006 to 2013, and you know about this town. So that's the quick thumbnail of my varied experience. 37 years, all in Massachusetts governments. Any questions about any of that?
No,
No?
just 23 years in Walpole,
Yeah,
and obviously, from that experience to where we are today, I'm assuming you've seen significant change in municipal government.
quite a bit, yeah.
Where do you see
Yeah.
the biggest change?
Just going back to the Walpole experience, the biggest issue we had in Walpole was that I had SEA Consultants out of Boston as an engineering firm, and we were doing a lot of sewer work. Walpole's right on the border of Norwood. Norwood had its municipal water through the MWRA. We had our own municipal wells. The situation was that the engineering firm got a contract with the MWRA to locate a sewage pelletizing landfill. They picked 3 sites in Walpole. The president of the engineering firm said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it." In the next phase, well, they didn't get the contract for the next phase. So we were on the hook, and I spent 7 years of my life fighting the MWRA, DEP, EPA, Governor Dukakis, Ted Kennedy. It was a large battle. Barney Frank was a real good friend. Barney stood by us. It was interesting that there was a new consortium of independent assisted living and a nursing home that was built in town. And the director asked me to come speak to the new residents and tell them about the project or the fight against the MWRA. And I said right during the speech that Ted Kennedy had been no help at all to us. And what I didn't realize was one of the new residents was a woman, a little tiny woman by the name of Luella Hennessy Donovan, the Kennedy family nurse.
Oh, no.
She got up out of her seat, went to her room, and made one phone call. And things turned around rather quickly.
Wow.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, after 7 years, it took us 7 years of
We could have
fighting.
gone one way or the other.
Did you end up winning in that prevailing?
Pardon?
Did you end up prevailing against the MWRA?
Yes. It never got built. We had to come up with a solution. And the solution was for the MWRA to buy space in a landfill in Utah and buy railroad cars. And the sludge judge Garrity bought it.
Sludge judge.
So that was a 7-year battle. That was a tough one. Walpole, with the representative town meeting, was a whole different dynamic. We had to prepare packets for each member that had, all the articles with all the information, and they would get it, like 2 weeks ahead of time or so. So they were always prepared, and you wouldn't get a slug of people coming in on one issue. They have to sit there for the entire night and vote on all the articles. So it's a whole different level of understanding.
Must have been an eye-opener coming to Harwich then.
No, because I had
Yeah,
open
oh, yeah.
town meeting
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the other
Renton,
towns,
yeah.
so, yeah.
Given your choice, which did you prefer?
Most communities don't consider an RTM until they can't meet quorums. When you start to see the attendance dropping off, and they start to call the local bars to make quorum.
Our fire department used to knock
Yeah,
on
they did.
doors.
Exactly, yeah, that's the kind of, when it gets desperate, then people start considering RTM.
Were they-
But it's a whole different level of understanding and votes. It's and you go to the extreme. The city council you've got district councilors, and then you get at-large councilors, and you can see the different dynamics going on between the councilors. But with a city council, you've got an issue, and you bring it to the council on week one. They call for a hearing with the subcommittee on the issue. They vote it, and then the full council meets the following week, and the issue is resolved. You know, it's a much more efficient. It's not democratic, but it's very efficient. You know, I would say that
Representative.
you could say the open town meeting is very democratic and not very efficient.
Is,
So,
were people better prepared at RTM?
oh yeah, significantly so.
I would bet because they're responsible
That's
for
right.
being prepared.
I mean, they campaign. They have ads in the paper and stuff to vote for them, and you know, there's probably eight or nine per precinct. So
Mhm.
And that's like what we were talking about, having
8 or 9 per
a
precinct?
Per
select person
person.
from each precinct or something.
We
Along
had a
that
great
line.
It was
discussion
this-
with that,
We
yeah.
had that, we also had the select board. Should the select board be 4 of them elected by precincts, because we have 4 precincts, then 1 at large,
Yeah.
Okay.
so. Because I know I lived in Newton for many years, and we had 16 precincts. We had 8
Aldermen.
we had 8 precincts, we had alders. We had 8 precincts, so there was 2 precinct alders from each precinct, and there were 8 at large.
mhm.
So there's 24 people in a room, all of them having to
I
get their
always
say in.
got a
It
kick
was,
out of
it was awful.
Framingham, population 70,000 with a town form of government. They really kicked it and screamed all the way to cityhood.
Mhm.
Town like our
Yeah,
home charter?
70,000.
Wow.
Mm.
Impressive.
Have you been watching us? Have you seen any
No.
of our?
He has a life.
Yeah, no, it's,
Unlike
But-
us, yeah.
as a town administrator, and you were working, actually not this charter then, oh, you were working with this charter.
Mhm.
Um,
Actually, it's a new charter for me.
Yeah. Have you seen anything in this charter that you, in your experience, would want to see tweaked?
There are a lot more town administrators than town managers. Town managers, they usually have the higher fire authority that a TA would be subject to.
Mm.
All my hires were subject to the selectmen's approval. But
We'll be having a discussion on that later tonight, correct? The town manager,
Mm, possibly, yes.
based on some,
Well, no,
Yeah,
the town administrator, Jay and,
we're gonna hold on that, okay.
we're gonna hold on that
That's fine,
then.
all right.
Because we've got the issue of the select board hiring people. I know the term of art is appoint. And yet, who really does the personnel review? Who does the person really report to? We're thinking specifically the finance director.
the going back to the Walpole experience, back in Holden, we actually, our fiscal year was calendar.
Wow.
You know, it goes back that far. In Walpole, I had the experience of having Prop 2.5 come in, voted in 1980, and we weren't very efficient. I had an elected treasurer and an elected collector. They
Wow.
received $9,900 stipend each. They didn't talk to each other. The collector's father had a candy store, and he ran his collections through the candy store. That's I've seen it all. So I took an opportunity with 2.5. You know, most Massachusetts communities were running about 4% value at the time. And we had to get it knock it back in the same fiscal year to 2.5. So we had to get efficient real quick. And I created a fiscal and monetary review committee that looked at it and laughed the same thing as you, but you know, that's local politics. And created the first finance director position in the state.
Really?
Yeah. it was perfect opportunity. We ramped up real quick. And I was fortunate to always have really good hires, really skilled people. That's what I needed to pull it together.
I
And
don't
get rid
think
of all
I,
the inefficiencies.
I don't think I ever really thought about 2.5 when it came in, what communities had to do to take their budget and the next year's budget, do that 2.5,
Yeah.
the calculation,
It was hard.
I never thought about that because I was already, I just never thought about what that must have been for a, what do we do?
Little
Mhm.
intro to it, because we had the
Mhm.
4% tax cap right before that.
Yeah.
Barbara Anderson.
That's correct, yep.
Did you go to override the first year?
No,
Really?
nobody did.
Yeah.
You know, it was so popular. And of course, debt exclusion's a lot easier than general.
Some of the things that we are looking at, that we're going to be proposing in this revised charter is that we're kind of on the do your job, as Richard likes to say, and that if the town administrator, we'd like to change it to town manager, or that would be a proposal, but if they hire somebody, they have to live with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that having
Yeah.
this, clerical staff and all these people having to go through the select board is, they do a bad hire, they gotta deal with it. They do a good hire, they deal with it. So we're moving, we potentially wanna move some of that, like get rid of this 14 days to,
I wouldn't have said it when I was working here, but recruiting skill level personnel on the Cape is much more difficult than in the metro area.
it is very difficult here.
Yeah, to attract and retain.
And the housing
Um,
situation doesn't help.
One thing I didn't get, and I don't know if you have it yet, is a personnel department. I didn't have one, and I didn't get any help getting one, so.
We have
HR.
a human resource specialist.
Specialist. Is that
Hmm?
Yes.
department head level, or what is it?
No,
Is it a secretary?
it's, I think it's somebody, I think she has the experience, because I've dealt with her, and she's got a lot of experience.
Uh-huh,
But it's not a department, it's
yeah,
a sole provider.
yeah.
Reports into the town.
Does she work in the TA office, or?
She works at the,
Well, right now, she's located at the 204 building.
Okay.
that's, the town is moving more personnel over there.
Okay,
And there's, what was the administrative suite basically of offices, you're gonna see more people from town working there.
Because they've got that one section of 204 building where they could actually lock it off.
Mm-hmm,
It was
And
the old
so have
administrators.
have it be secure, at night, and still have activities at the 204 building, and have the people who rent there still be able to come and go, but have the offices kind of off to that
Okay,
side and lock
yeah.
it.
Definitely, having someone with personnel, human resource skills is helpful
Yes,
in recruiting and retaining.
because that's an area that
Compensation, the
is,
whole package.
that's an area that is so complicated from 30 years ago, 20 years
Yeah.
ago. It's very
And there's a
complicated.
lot of federal and state laws you gotta comply with, so
Do.
you need to know what you're doing,
Yeah,
You
when-
gotta know the people that you're dealing with to
yeah,
know your picks.
yeah.
If you're the,
Try to reduce
gate.
the amount of turnover. This town is notorious for that.
Anything else in this current charter that you see that you would tweak if you were sitting in TA's position today?
Change the number from 3 to 4 on the Board of Selectmen on removing a TA. That's the first thing most guys look at. Security, job security.
We have, is
Right
it
now
a-
it's 3.
Majority?
I thought it was
Hmm?
4 now.
Yeah, it's a
You're
supermajority.
saying
I thought it
Four,
was 3.
4 to
It's-
hire,
4 to hire,
3
right.
to term.
and you're saying keep that or
No, I'm
No.
trying to go to 4.
Go to
go
4.
to 4?
Mhm.
For termination?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
Determination, supermajority.
make it harder to get rid of.
It's
Mhm.
also to somewhat to try to minimize the personality issues.
Right, because that will, yeah.
Well, it does make it harder for a single person to control the outcome, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Whoever decides he or she is the swing vote accrues a lot of power.
Mhm.
Good point.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. Anything else like that, actually, yeah.
What about, should we ask about the compliance? Have you followed that at all, Jim? The compliance that if someone fails to abide by the charter,
Oh,
where does someone go to form a complaint?
I noticed you've created some kind of a,
We're talking about putting something in there with
Yeah.
compliance.
Compliance
that's a good
Commission.
point. It's usually the town council issue or state ethics.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed to be the biggest, I'm going to say, pushback from the selectmen that I
Yeah.
heard last Thursday, was that piece there. And I've rethought it. When
Yeah.
we get to talk about it amongst ourselves, I'll tell my thoughts then, but I was wondering if you had any thoughts on if
No,
someone isn't complying with the charter.
Yeah. It's almost like it should be outside the local, rather than try to, I don't know, it's like a paper tiger to have a charter oversee. You know, you come up with a finding, you know, then what? You gotta go to court?
Yeah, no, that was, the discussion we've had, Jim, is more educational than anything else. You know, the charter is there, is basically our constitution for the community,
Mhm.
and it's not being followed by word of a beat, select board, town administrator, et cetera. And as I've been harping on all year, do your job, you know, and if the charter says you have this job to do your job.
Right.
But if you're not doing the job, what is the fallout from that? And some people say, well, re-election, but it doesn't really happen. You know, we don't see that. Recall is almost impossible to have occur in a community.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing there, and when you've got a charter, this is meeting 46 for us to look at this charter, and to not have any type of compliance, even for education. Hey, Mr. Town Administrator, hey, Mr. Select Board Member, hey, whoever, Finance Committee Member, here's the charter, you need to start following this, and you're not.
Mhm.
We need to have you follow it. It's not purely.
I don't know of other communities that have an
There are two in the
internal,
Cape that do,
that do.
born in Provincetown.
Hmm.
And I think it's Sandwich.
Does it seem, I think that was born in Provincetown.
Board in Provincetown,
Yeah.
Board in Provincetown.
So they have their own.
Compliance,
Rich-
right. And
And what's the penalty?
P-Town, I believe, does not. It's really, they use the word
Encourage,
encouragement
yeah.
of.
Thank you.
So they had it just for everyone except the TA and the select board. Then they revised it recently to include both of them. So everyone's under the umbrella now, but
Mhm.
I don't think there's any penalty.
Right.
What we're looking at is really, it's not like one person go and make a complaint. You know, make it 10 or 15 or 20 or 20, whatever, 25
Yeah.
people. Say, hey, this member of this board or employee is not, and again, we're gonna be careful with employees because we have to deal
Well, the
with.
selectmen would look at reappointment or not reappointing for,
Or what if it is the
Misbehavior.
selectmen?
But what if it's the
Yeah.
select board member? And that's the truth, you know, if.
that could happen.
And when you get to that, there's no accountability outside of the ballot box.
Right.
And any of the select board members, you know, we have code of conduct, which is great. We have an employee
Yeah.
handbook, which includes,
Mhm.
you know, select board members.
I mean, there are, state ethics does have penalties.
Not
They
It
for-
does.
they will
not for
fine.
charter.
Not for charter, though.
Not for charter.
They've got,
There's no enforcement mechanism for a charter.
So you're
Yeah.
saying, I guess I'm referring to ethics issues.
Ethics
Yeah.
issues, but that's-
Ethics issues, yeah, will be covered.
But
It's-
ethics is a different animal.
Yeah.
So one of the things,
This is, you've got this document in front of you, you're supposed to be following.
Mm-hmm.
One year you blow through every deadline leading up to town meeting. Another year you just don't like what's in there, so you go to town council and get an opinion to reinforce your interpretation, which isn't, you know, a matter of intent. One of the things we're trying to do is close up the wiggle room.
Lack of clarity.
So there's clarity, so that it doesn't require, but there's been a lot of money spent over the years over running to town council to get a different interpretation of the charter than what was being operated previously. So
Yes,
this
it's still
is-
in my memory block.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We've
And one
also,
of the famous ones was an interpretation of the word shall
as
Yes.
advisory,
as
As
advisory.
Yes.
Where'd that come
From the town council.
Town council.
and from
From
town
the
council,
lawyer.
it's an actual
So-
memo
so-
from town council.
Yeah.
Truly,
It is true,
It is true,
100%.
Okay,
and
we got the memo.
I used Sandy's terms when we started out,
okay.
puts guardrails on the charter. And I don't think it
I'm gonna
needs to be,
start charging you for
yeah,
that.
that's fine, do your job, they'll start charging for that one. But as an educational tool, for people to say, hey, the charter's important, it is our constitution, you have to abide by it. If you don't, well, maybe you didn't understand it was there, but it's there.
Mhm.
And what it becomes, frankly, is, I'll be very blunt, a public admonishment. That's saying, hey, you know, you've not been following the charter, you need to do it.
Mhm.
Not bringing it to court, it's no criminal, it is
Yeah.
just, hey, you gotta do this. And it's,
Otherwise, what's the meaning of the charter?
that's my whole point.
We could all
I
go
said that
home
last
and
week.
just stop
Mm.
reading it now.
Exactly,
Do as you please.
yeah. And if
Have
it's,
you any examples of where a community had the guardrails and it worked?
the only one that I've seen, again, Provincetown is useless, they encourage, you know, people to follow.
The thing is, would be if it was never used,
Right,
because the very
True.
fact that it exists would serve as a form of
Deterrent, yeah.
encouragement, if
Yeah.
you will,
Or determine.
knowing that, 10 citizens could, not the committee itself. This is not a policing concept. This is we're here. If 10 people in the community decide that, our town administrator is walking all over the charter, then they can complain to the board. The board will take a look at it, say, yeah, there's a problem here, no, there isn't,
Mm-hmm.
and do some follow-through. But just the very fact that it exists, I would hope would be, keep people a little bit more mindful of paying attention to the document.
and that would be use, never
To never
having to have a
use it.
complaint filed,
Yeah.
means everyone's doing their job.
Sort of like a vaccine.
Yeah, like a vaccine, there you go. So it's, I think we're still wrestling with that one.
You're gonna wrestle with that one,
What else have you thought of that might be advantageous to us?
I don't have any. Wrestle.
I give you an ethics story that I don't talk about very much. Rentham. I don't know if you know Lake Pearl, big lake, big lake. At the upper end of the lake, chairman of the Board of Selectmen was on one side, a neighbor, a butter, was on the other side of this headwaters, a former Marine, lots of kids, lots of boats, lots of noise that the chairman didn't like. And so we were drilling a municipal well at the headwaters, and the engineering firm had some kind of a pipe that filled with air, and they tried to submerge it and under the lake and through an easement, and they got air in the pipe, and the pipe lifted up. I had to go back and try to get a revised extension on the easement. The chairman didn't like this neighbor. It turned nasty. I had a selectman come to me and instruct me to raise the assessment on the property. I refused, obviously. Suggested that the neighbor go to the ethics commission, and the guardrails came in and took care of me. I was the fall for that issue. Interestingly enough, I ran into the gentleman at the State Ethics Commission, and he says, "You know what?" He said, "I recognize your name." I said, "I've got your quote up on my wall that said, you know, that you have to wake up in the morning and be happy with yourself when you look in the mirror. He says, that's the quote I live by, and it was mine.
So
State
you
Ethics
took, you took
Commission.
the fall,
I took the fall.
and the chair of the select board was never admonished.
No,
And that's,
I didn't go public on it.
yeah, no, that's fine, but that's the perfect example for a compliance. It is to have, 10 other people, 9 other people say, hey, this is wrong,
Yeah,
and it comes before it, and it's just, I think you get to it, the threat of that public admonishment. That people say, no, I'm not gonna do this, I'm
yeah.
not gonna request an increase in assessment, or whatever it might be. I think that's enough for people,
Mm.
to say, hey, I don't wanna go before a compliance committee because I had a complaint against me for whatever reason.
I don't know. Just looking at the Texas election this week, I don't know what, how you could admonish somebody and actually
Make it
it
count.
effective.
Yeah,
Make it
yeah,
count,
yeah.
Well, you're, and the compliance commission that we're considering proposing is one that the compliance commission does not go to meetings, various boards, committee and commission meetings, sitting there and saying, aha,
Yeah,
got one right there.
yeah.
It specifically will come from a member of the public
Oh, yeah,
with their
yeah.
X number of signatures to then look at it, that it is not it's not an investigative, detective, snooping around type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This committee that we're talking about, in present form, also includes a bylaw charter review component. So the same people would be doing the ongoing that the bylaw charter review committee does. And an arbitration, so if there were two, boards in town that were having difficulty reconciling their opinions of
Mhm.
what the charter says, that they could come to this group who has, their job is to keep up with the charter, to review amendments that come before town meeting and all that, so we'll be living with that document as a job, and be able to say, no, this is how you would interpret it, and that would be the decision, rather than running to town council every 5 minutes at great expense to
Mm-hmm.
get an opinion that might be something one day and something quite different 2 months later.
And poor town council gets caught in the crossfire all the time in all these communities. And eventually they have to say, I can't represent both boards. You've got to go find your own counsel.
Yeah,
Right.
that's one of the things that we're trying to, along with do your job and guardrails and the town administrator is operations, the select board should be policy and procedures and planning and thinking about the future. That should be their job. But we're working really hard to, as we went through the charter, to take the interpretive words out and to try to be
Mm-hmm.
very specific about what is meant, trying to get away from, well, the intention was. But if it's not written that way, then who cares what the intention was? All that matters is the words. It's like a contract. Gee, I didn't know that was, I thought.
It's there.
It's there, and it's like, too bad, yeah,
Yeah.
this is what you gotta do. So we're
What-
trying to make it as specific as we can to try to avoid this.
That I did see, you're trying to bring back the October annual town meeting.
It's a
That's a
proposal.
big plus.
It's interesting.
We just have too much on the warrant in the spring. The town is at least big enough so that you can do it twice a year instead of once. It gives you, again, if your finances are in order, you can get your free cash certified, and you can still do financial items that are necessary in the fall. But you definitely want all your non-financials to do in the fall, get it separated out. And I think you could probably get away with one night in the spring and one in the fall. The timing would be much better.
Now,
People seem to be really hung up on this, but if you don't have free cash certified, how can you have a town meeting? Well, if you don't have free cash certified,
Exactly,
you
you
don't
just-
get to spend any money.
That's right.
This is pretty easy.
Yeah, there's an incentive there.
Yeah.
Jim, especially now that you're retired, Was there ever an occasion in any of your assignments that you wanted to call a special? Because
Oh, sure.
right now,
Yes.
the charter allows for a special to be called. Did you as a TA ever want a special
Yeah.
called, but it wasn't called by the select board? Who's looking?
You're being taped anyway.
Apparently, the status quo was the preferred method for running the town.
We're going back and forth with, should we propose legislating a fall town meeting?
Yes,
And that's really the
yes,
issue.
that's what I'm
not what-
suggesting.
Not whether or not
No, you do.
it's a good idea
Yeah.
or not, but it's, do you wanna legislate?
Right.
That's kind of,
And you're the third,
There's plenty of reasons to have the meeting in the
It'd be
fall.
easier on staff too, isn't it, to not have to do all of everything at once?
Yeah, I think, again, I'm spoiled by having, city council where I go in get something done in a couple of weeks. It's hard for some issues to be deferred for a whole year. And it really need not be.
Well, the way I look at it is that for purposes of planning, if you know you have to have a fall town meeting that primarily deals with the non-financial things.
Right,
Then you plan your Springtown meeting accordingly. If it's optional,
right,
then you're still gonna throw everything into the Springtown meeting, because you might not have a fall town meeting.
right.
Yeah.
you're the third town administrator who's been here. And it's interesting. Another one was highly in favor of legislating
Good.
a spring and a
Yep,
fall.
okay.
but it all depends on what the community wants to.
Yeah.
So in about 3 weeks, we're going to be having a listening session. We'll have a pretty, reasonable draft. We have one draft out of this charter, red line. We'll
Mm-hmm,
have one that has some corrections or changes to it, and that's the one we want to hear from. And, if the community doesn't support something,
yeah,
so we're really looking for that community, what do you think?
And we don't want one thing to kill the whole plan either.
Right.
Right, because this is an all or nothing vote.
yes, yeah. Sometimes you can get stuck on one issue, then, shoot it down, yeah.
Instead of the big picture.
We've been fortunate, Jim.
I-
We've acted predominantly to the entire 46 weeks that we've been meeting, 46 meetings, coming to consensus
Mm-hmm,
on decisions. We've actually taken very, very few votes on anything. And what is great is this is a diverse elected commission. And to be able to come to consensus
it's
is,
good, oh, yeah.
it's
It
admirable, I
could
believe.
be not so. Mhm.
And it's a sticking point with the select board that we haven't taken a vote on everything. I make a motion that we change this word to
Yeah.
this. All's in favor,
So you're
yes,
gonna take a
no.
vote on the whole package?
We're gonna take a vote on the
For whole
package.
Yeah.
That makes
When we
sense.
get done, we're gonna have this is what we're gonna propose to the, to the
Yep.
town.
Mhm.
And just take a vote. Otherwise, we've been working as consensus. And we've had some pretty good discussions. There have been issues where half are for it and half are against it. And so some of those we've tabled as, the problem
Mhm.
issues.
So you
And
can find a compromise position.
see if you can
yeah.
find compromise, see if you can work it out.
Yeah,
And, so far, there hasn't been that much that we haven't been able to figure out a way to do it that gets a general level of support. There's always I call it the protest nickel. There's always one person who doesn't like it, but that's okay.
sure, yep. I understand you've been digging in on capital budget a little bit.
We have, I think we're gonna talk tonight on what I think might be what we've all agreed to and can live with. I think there are some
Just
that
a
are probably
couple.
not happy, but
Couple of points on that. One of my favorite committees was capital budget. I spent an inordinate amount of time, and I also introduced a 5-year plan, which was comprehensive. It wasn't just capital. It was the whole package, and I think the selectmen ran and showed it to other towns because they were so proud of it. especially when you had all that sewer debt coming at you.
Oh,
Jeez. But, Pete Watson was our chair. He was a riot. He was such a fun guy. And the thing of it is the votes of majority versus 2/3. My perspective is that a capital budget should be amended annually, and priorities do change, and you should encourage those changes. Don't penalize the capital budget committee with a 2/3 vote if you're changing. My understanding was there were 34 changes in the capital plan, and you're not gonna have 34 votes of 2/3. That's ridiculous.
Just clarify, two different things.
Uh-huh,
Capital plan, which is the 5-year plan,
right.
the budget is only the first year.
I understand your difference.
Yeah.
In my mind, they're one and the
Same,
same.
I get it.
One and the same, and they should be. What you should discourage is somebody jumping the line. Somebody that's gonna come in with a big project in year one that you haven't seen for the last 5 years,
Like this year.
yeah, like this year.
like this year.
Mhm.
That's when you tell me that's a definitely a 2/3 vote.
Right.
Make it difficult for somebody that didn't have their act together.
I think that's pretty much where we've landed.
That's where
That's
Good.
where
That's
we've
exactly-
landed.
Good.
Is the 2 through 5 can be, is more flexible.
Yeah,
But year one, if anything jumps it, it's a 2/3
Yeah.
majority.
That
Gotcha.
project is a 2/3 vote.
yep, right.
Okay, well, good.
But simple majority for the plan, I mean,
That's
geez.
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the fundings, if they're, the ones that take 2/3, take 2/3,
Exactly. If
whatever.
yeah, depending on your funding source.
That's
you're
the
gonna-
funding.
Right, that's
Yeah.
different.
You mentioned total consideration, not just capital. What else were you referring to?
Everything, the entire package,
Which package?
Specifically.
everything, operating, all the fixed costs, free cash, state aid, you name it. All your revenue
Project-
sources,
Projecting out 5 years.
projecting it out, yep.
Mhm.
You know exactly what's coming at you.
It was a great tool, because I was
Oh,
on the
yeah.
board when we were looking at that every
Yeah.
year, and you could
Flatten out your
see
debt,
where
yeah.
what is going to be an issue coming down the line,
Yep.
rather than
So
going,
you get time to deal with it.
Right.
time to plan, yes.
Mhm.
We're
Oh,
at
it is, it's a great planning tool.
We're at 83 million this past year at town meeting, and John says unencumbered though, we haven't started paying on it yet. But the actual budget within 2 or 3 years will be $100 million. And that's where, I love that idea of 5-year full planning, of saying exactly where we're gonna be, because once that debt starts coming on, people are gonna get shocked,
Yeah.
I'm still with the assessors, and
I know
we get beat up, it's just like, hey, you increased my taxes. No, you increased your taxes at town meeting.
You
Yeah.
voted for this.
Yeah.
I think what is hard
I didn't, I
is,
sat home.
I think what is
By
hard
default.
on the getting the stuff on your tax bill is you vote for something at town meeting, you go to the ballot box, you vote the debt. But it doesn't show up on your next tax bill.
No.
Until
It shows
December.
up 5 years
December,
later or
well,
something, well, if, assuming that,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
haven't paid for
Yeah,
anything
oh, yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So X number of years later,
And it's not
It
itemized
shows-
out either, so you don't know what that increase is.
all of a
really,
sudden, there's
just,
this big
whoa.
honking increase,
Mhm.
and it's like, whoa, well, remember when we voted on that $10
Right.
million school roof project? There it is.
Mhm.
And the, all the wastewater stuff that we're doing, the sewering.
Mhm.
Most of that has not hit people's tax bills. And I
Mhm.
can't wait for that one.
When you think about it though, how many people subcontract out their personal financing? You know?
Have somebody pay the bills.
And so why would they have any knowledge of what goes on where their house is, in the
Or their
town?
mortgage payment goes up because their tax bill got higher.
And were you able to do that? Because I don't remember doing a full
Oh,
5-year
yeah.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
proud
whole
of it.
shoot and match,
I do.
everything.
Yeah.
Because I was
Really?
on that board when we were
Yeah.
doing that.
And I think what we're talking about is as a town administrator, town manager, take more of the day-to-day off the table, allowing for a select board to have more of that sort of white space, you know, to have those, I think, you talk about it all the time, John, the debt.
Mm.
And, you know, when you look at 5 years of, put everything in there, okay, what's gonna hit this year for debt? What's gonna hit next
Yeah.
year for debt? You know, and we're
What's
gonna.
coming off
Right, and
to offset it?
and the thing is, there's not a whole lot of offset, because the wastewater is such an investment in this community, it far outpaces what's being retired. So it's
Yeah,
not going
just
down,
incrementally.
and
Yeah,
so it
ramp
is,
up, yeah.
and that's why the
Yeah.
impact on the taxes, and that's
So
why,
there's your education.
and, you know, to say to folks, okay, if the leaders of this community, the select board members, have that space to really start talking about this, I love that, I'd love to see a full 5 year, I think it's a lot of work,
It is.
but I think it would be,
But if you have a
Great
strong
forward.
finance team, you can do it, you can pull it off.
yeah,
You know,
I think we,
If a bond rating.
I think we have that, and I think Jen is probably fully capable of
doing that.
So for- I
overseeing
mean,
that, yeah.
hopefully we'll have some stability in the finance department
may
now,
be the
because
goal
there
of
hasn't
this.
been.
To get them to that point where they can do that again, because that's, the next 5 years are gonna be the most important years of this community in terms of what's gonna happen with taxes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jim, you have anything else for us?
I don't know, you get any items that I haven't addressed, or?
I think it would be important for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're.
Thank you so much for
Yeah, it was-
coming. We
Yeah,
appreciate
It was
it.
a joy.
Thank
Very
you.
informative.
Nice meeting
It's
you.
been a long time.
And you've missed it terribly, haven't you?
With a smile on his
With
face.
a
He's a
smile
happy
on
man.
that face.
Retirement's good.
Yes, it is.
I enjoy working on projects for our church and for the family pantry. That's
Nice.
All right.
my joy now.
Excellent.
Good.
What
Thank
church
you.
you go to?
St. Peter's, Lutheran,
Oh, yeah.
137.
Yeah.
Solar panels and the sign.
Yes, solar panels.
I love, I don't know who makes up the sign all the time, but I
They're
love
good
it.
signs.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Say hi to Linda.
All right, that was good.
That was good.
That was really good.
I liked the, do we want to consider putting a supermajority on removal of the TA?
Let's go back and look at the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's, we need to look at that whole section again.
Or
Yeah.
just look at that piece?
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Is
that's,
it 4 to hire now, 3 to
Correct.
remove?
yes, 3 to remove,
Probably should be consistent, I would think, 4 to 4.
I would think.
I have no issue with that.
Huh? Yeah.
I'm good with
it.
I'd like to sit down and read it through the way it is. I don't have a problem with it, I just would like to.
All right.
feel it through more
Yeah.
thought.
Let's go to the capital plan. After meetings and conversations, I took everybody's ideas and I sent what I think is what we're talking about. So hopefully you all read it. You know, it was taking some from this, some from this, some from that, as to what seemed to be where we were, the direction we were going in. So I hope you all read it and are ready to discuss it.
I
Mhm.
have two questions.
One, yes?
One statement, two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Thank you.
Makes sense to me, in the review of the discussions we've had. 961, I just was curious why the cross out keeping the borrowing level.
Because I thought we had discussed, again, I thought we had discussed that.
I don't remember it.
So
That's-
if we want to leave that in, I'm fine with that.
I don't really have a big problem with it, but that really has been the intention of it, and I
But
don't.
once you start putting wastewater in there,
Yeah.
now all bets are off,
See
because
it?
there's no way you're
You
gonna
see it?
I
level.
understand
I've got
that.
to pull it up.
There ain't
Quite,
no-
I'm just my thought, I'm just thinking off the top of
I
my head.
didn't bring my,
It's aspirational.
Yeah,
Um,
that's,
should aspirational be in the charter? You know,
That's a good point.
all right.
I don't know, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just speaking out loud.
What point, Sandy?
961.
961.
961.
The cross out of the last half of the sentence, I was questioning why, I wasn't arguing with it, I was just
Yeah.
questioning why.
And I,
You're on the chart, this is the capital plan thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so
I,
961,
It's
Yeah.
9.
and I just,
961.
Oh, 961, okay, okay.
and just crossing out to attempt to keep debt borrowing levels as even as possible from year to year. Do you want to put at, that's why I thought we had crossed that out, because it's aspirational as opposed to,
It's definitive, and it's something that, to be frank, most likely won't be able to be accomplished in the next 5 years.
No, I get that, but it's still a good goal anyway.
Oh, I
No,
think
it's fine, I mean,
yeah.
it's not a big deal,
Okay.
I'm just asking a couple of
Yeah.
questions. And I guess 962, what was I looking at? Planning requirements instead of funds?
we prefer to have funds as opposed to requirements?
Do we?
There was a big discussion last week,
Planning requirements.
As
because,
opposed to funds?
Yeah.
because the funds changed so dramatically from year 1 to 5.
Mm-hmm. Seemed like requirements
Okay,
kind of,
But,
Covers everything.
but now I'm with your point. What does requirements mean?
that's, yeah.
we can have planning, present year and planning funds for any such. Funds is fine.
Only because it's truly, and pardon my ignorance again, what does requirements mean?
Mm-hmm. To me, requirements means, because you just said a total project cost of 50,000 or more during any budget year.
It's a necessity.
Why don't we
Okay.
just leave it at that? And
But
get rid of,
that's what I was just thinking, why
get rid
not
of-
put a period right after
Yeah.
budget year and just.
get rid of the rest.
The rest of it just sort of muddies the waters.
Yeah. You've
So just-
established the fact that 50,000 is the threshold.
So,
Full stop.
full stop,
Yeah.
take this out.
And get rid of in planning
Now,
requirements.
and it's also not budget year, it's over the 5-year plan. Because if you say budget year, I'm gonna spend $40,000 in this budget year, I'm gonna spend $40,000 in year 2, I'm gonna spend $40,000 in year 3, you have a $120,000 project.
Well, then.
I think you
would
mean a
just-
capital outlay is having a total project cost of 50,000 or more, period.
I can live with that.
That works.
Yeah, get
Okay,
rid of during the budget
Yeah.
from there on.
Yeah.
okay,
That's fine, yeah, that's simple,
period.
Mm-hmm.
clarity.
Well, that's all I have. I'm happy with the rest of it.
I have a question for y'all on
Where are you?
965. This is the wording on if their capital project somehow magically appears in year 1, which is the capital budget,
Mm-hmm.
and it requires a 2/3 vote of town meeting. So what happens if, we'll take the harbor master's boat. We got the boat. There's a 2/3 vote needed to get it on the capital plan because it magically appeared. The 2/3 vote fails. There is an article, X number of articles down the road,
Brings it back
to
to-
fund that, which is totally separate from the plan. So is the intention, again, at that intention word, that if it fails to be put on the capital plan, you can't fund it? Because otherwise, why bother with a 2/3 vote if the funding mechanism is there and that can get voted by a simple majority? Or if it's dead, it's 2/3, et cetera. And that's, I came up with that in the shower this morning, thinking.
It's kind of like the DPW.
The odds of
What
it
was this
failing
year?
on town meeting floor.
Don't talk
Based-
about the odds. I'm talking
based
about
on-
if
ba-
it fails.
Based on past performance, there is no two-thirds vote that has ever been turned down.
Again, I'm saying,
Yeah.
Devil's advocate, I get it.
so I'm not looking at whatever happened in the past or what could or would or should happen or might happen. It's, that I think is a ramification,
Mm-hmm.
that if the 2/3 vote fails to put it on the capital plan in year 1,
The
so that
budget, yeah.
failed it, so it's not on the capital plan at all, but I got a funding article over here.
But it's no longer not in the capital budget.
Yeah.
If it's not in the plan and it's year
That's
1,
not true. There's a,
No, she's right.
the article says, to see if the town will vote to authorize $10 million to do such and thus.
So
It doesn't say because it's on the capital
So
plan.
what you need is one more line that says something to the effect, if the two-thirds vote fails, a town meeting floor renders any
Null and void.
following valid vote
Any resulting.
Any associated
Result.
actions.
Any associated
funding.
funding articles are, yeah, but now,
Or don't do that.
And shall not be funded in that year. I mean, because it could go back into the capital budget. I mean,
For the
capital
next year.
plan, right. So, but
yeah,
for
but if,
that
if
year-
any funding, 966, if any, excuse me. Yeah, 966, if any capital budget item fails either at the ballot box or at town meeting, but fails at the ballot box, it goes back the next year automatically,
But let's use, and again, I hate to do that, but this year's example.
the vote,
Vote was not anywhere in the capital plan,
ever.
ever. It came out. And if, going on to the capital plan, because it came into the capital plan, correct? This
Mhm.
year one,
Yes,
Right.
so it became part of the capital budget.
budget.
So if that were, if we'd done this we're supposed to, in order for that to be in the capital plan in year one, it should have been a two-thirds vote.
According to what we're proposing.
Right.
Right.
Or, and according to what the previous charter stated.
Yeah, I know, but we,
No, no,
It seems
my
that
point.
article would have to go first, but we're going to go ahead.
Right, so if that were turned down, and here's the point, is the entire capital plan turned down, or is it
No.
amended to
No.
include that
amended, can be amended
item?
to,
Okay,
it would be no longer including that item.
Right.
But now you have a funding article over here to buy a boat.
Or do you vote and then
and, but here's the
amend?
thing, right, but
Yeah.
if they turn down that boat in the capital plan, you're right, the initial article to fund it is null.
No, it's not. I don't think it is.
Well, we need to state that it should be.
That's
because
right.
what
That's
they're
why I'm
done.
bringing
But
this
here's the
topic
thing.
up.
Does that boat then go into the capital plan? Because it's not been voted into the capital plan.
Take one at a time. If the two-thirds vote, if the boat had to have a two-thirds vote
Right.
to remain on the capital plan, and it lost, should there be a line in here that says, if the two-thirds vote fails to put it on the capital plan, it is not allowed, I don't know what the wording would be, it's not allowed to be funded.
Right.
Subsequent
Any
articles to be funded.
resulting, in any resulting
Town
funding
meeting-
articles,
Town meeting or ballot vote.
yeah,
Any resulting,
town meeting
Article.
article or town meeting vote
Ballot.
shall be null and void. Period.
Well, if it was
Makes-
null, it
makes
wouldn't
sense.
even go to a vote, would
First
it?
hearing it, it makes sense.
Well, it would, because it's still an article on the town meeting, finance.
still in the
committee-
warrant.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
still in the warrant, finance
Yeah.
committee would probably, get up and say indefinitely postpone, and it would just be disposed of.
And if the off chance that it did, the moderator would probably call it out of order,
Call what out of order?
resulting financing article.
Oh, right, because it's no lo,
I don't know. that
I don't know.
we'd be able to do that.
I don't know. It's in the, it's a separate article.
All right,
In
that-
the
that-
warrant.
That sentence should take care of that.
We'll try it. Any resulting, yes, any resulting, if it fails, any resulting town meeting article or town meeting vote for funding shall be
Null and
null.
void. Right, null and void.
So we had that on this town meeting. We didn't pass the design on the DPW building. Failed.
But that was the
But then that-
funding, that was the funding failed.
But then it was on the ballot, though.
And it failed.
And
Right, because the
It
ballot
failed-
is,
Well, we're lucky it failed at the ballot, but it could have been approved at the ballot.
Well, if it
actually,
wasn't-
no, because if it failed at town meeting,
Actually,
It would have to come back to town meeting next year.
eventually.
the following, well, if it failed,
Which will anyways.
if it had passed on the ballot in the
Right.
spring, and we had a mandated fall town meeting, it could come back to the fall town meeting.
That'd be a good
And the
example.
town meeting could fund it, and we'd already approved it at
Yeah.
the previous meetings, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
you can
could
do
those
that.
funding articles ahead of a town meeting. In fact, we used to do that.
Mm.
We'd have the election was before town meeting. So any anticipated funding articles for capital projects or debt exclusions would be on a ballot and be voted on before a town meeting.
And you
Well,
have to,
because-
you have to set the ballot also at a certain time before the election, so you haven't had town meeting yet. So
Yeah.
stuff could be on the ballot that gets turned down at town meeting, and then the ballot question therefore becomes whether people vote for it or against it. Who cares, because it doesn't count.
We had town meeting on a Monday, and town elections on a Monday, and town meeting started on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, you would be starting town meeting with one selectman who'd been in office for approximately 12 hours.
Oh,
And
that was funny.
Well, that's just the way it always was.
Okay,
And of course, the problem is that the person who was working through the whole project
right.
and getting up to town meeting is now out of office, and somebody sitting there at the table who hasn't the first idea what's going on, which is why it was changed.
Okay.
It's a good change, because I think you should have town meeting, then you have ballot.
Absolutely.
So, anything, any other,
No?
can I stick this in,
Catch.
the red line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Red line it is.
Calm down.
Good job.
I have talked to Martha about the 2/3, she can live with it. And
Yes,
she
I-
thinks the committee can live with it,
I think so, yeah.
so I think that's good.
I
Well, I
think it's
think it's sort of a little of one and a little of the other, and
It is,
It's good.
compromises go, nobody walks away 100%
No.
happy.
Good.
that's the way I feel,
Yeah.
that this is one of those compromises where everybody's a little unhappy, which probably means it's a good
But I
compromise.
guess it does at least accomplish this problem of the vote.
Well, there's not even the vote, it was 5 articles and 5 items that were on any plan, not just the boat we
Right,
speak of.
The
There was-
125,000
there
for.
was 2 boats,
planning.
a truck, a dredging.
Right.
and-
There's all
and
kinds of stuff that
with
wasn't, yeah.
5 articles.
We gotta stop these
1 point-
shenanigans.
$2 million.
This is why this was instituted in the
Right.
first place, because back in the, 80s and 90s, this is a problem we had.
Yeah.
So this was the solution to the problem.
But this is one of the number one reasons for charter compliance, because we've had things in the charter that state this has to be done at town meeting. It takes a 2/3 vote, and it's not been happening.
No, I think,
So it's like, well, maybe the charter's just a suggested document. We don't really have to do a 2/3 vote, although it says we have to do a 2/3
Well,
vote.
according to town council, the charter is just a suggestion.
That's probably,
and on the boat, we're gonna have to, it went to
I
ballot.
wish I'd known that
passed,
before I ran.
And
That's,
we're gonna have to borrow money for that,
I want that
which
year
is gonna
back.
cost more than the
Which is-
boat.
but that's a whole,
Yeah, well, people don't think of that either.
no, they don't think about
You know,
that.
you make a good point. That's what town council's saying. Charter is suggested. Is our
Well,
charter,
Shall means,
but is our charter our constitution or not?
Yes, I'd say.
of course, but it's been handled rather disrespectfully many times.
Okay, we're
Okay,
not gonna whine
okay.
about, okay, we're done, we're
It's
done.
not a whine, it's a
Yeah.
statement of fact.
I know it, but let's not go there.
What's next?
Let's move on.
So we consensus on the capital?
Yes.
There's consensus on the capital wording.
Great.
Hallelujah.
That's a biggie.
That is
Okay,
a big one.
plan for 6/18/2026, the public meeting. It is a public meeting, it is not a public hearing, so we don't have to do the 2 times into the Chronicle for advertising. It's a meeting.
Yep.
Because I know there are some people that kept calling it a public hearing. It's like, no. Okay, so we have, guys, yeah,
Brendan,
thank you very much
So
for
in-
doing some work here.
In front of you have 2 documents. The first one is Linda's recap of the select board meeting. I figured I'd just attach it to this and print it out for you. As far as the public meeting on the single page, it's gonna be June 18, 2026, 6:30 PM in the Griffin Room. And as far as preparation and notification for the meeting, we're planning 25 handout packets to include the new charter, red line, and the agenda. And as far as press release, invitations to the Chronicle, Times, and the Cape Codder, along with the town website. And then we're going to post the meeting. Linda, I'll need your help with this as far as getting credentials for the video participation for that night.
Oh.
So I was gonna have
Okay.
you tackle that.
That
She books
Is
the
it in
meetings.
this room over here?
It's gonna be in the big Griffin room. Yes, I'm sorry. It'll be in the Griffin room.
Okay, so I have to talk to Emily on this, okay?
Yeah, and that'll be pretty straightforward for her to do for you. And then old timers, Sandy, I figured you could help with that.
I could do that, I could also put it up on the Harwich Cape Cod page.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That'd be great if you had that in there.
So Harwich.
There are a couple of Facebook pages that I can post.
Great.
We talked about format, and we talked about basically doing a 2-hour meeting. And 6 of the topics that we'll discuss, and they're down here, further down. And leaving in a comment phase at the end. And what we recommended, we discussed, is that in essence, Brendan will MC the event. Linda will do an introduction, similar to what she did at the joint meeting with the select board, and have her introduce the members of the elected commission who obviously are there that night. And then Brendan to run, and a lot of us have sort of skin in the game with this charter. I think Brendan is sort of in the middle and neutral, so I think it's great if he were to MC it.
I'm fine with that.
And
Yes, for me to do.
and look, the 6 topics, which basically is under number 3.
And
Just
Richard, real
7.
quick to
Yeah.
interject, I took Linda's notes
Yeah.
and I highlighted the 6.
Yeah.
Well, they're in bold print, just so you can follow along as, and they're also listed in step number 3 under format.
Yeah.
There's also 7 there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I
6.
left the 7th as we're not gonna touch.
And what I didn't know if you have, Linda, anywhere in your notes, any other parked topics or issues that we want to address here? Outside.
I think we're there.
Okay. And I think this is the most important part, the open public comment. To people, like we did last week, what are people, and Mr. Nickerson made some comments and
Mhm.
he had some advice for us. And for us, really, not to be responding, not to be defending the work, not to be rationalizing on the decisions that we've come up with so far, but strictly to listen. And if there is needed to be a factual response to something, that Linda, you could make it, or Sandy, you could make it as vice chair as well. But frankly, the rest of us just staying somewhat mute.
And having a factual response, not a
Correct.
defense.
Correct. Not an opinion. Well, my opinion, no.
We're not lobbying, we're
No.
listening.
Yes.
Exactly.
Listen.
And I think that's the most important thing that we can do here. And, it's,
We've got plenty of lobbying time.
yeah.
Yeah, whether someone needs reference on where to find something,
Right,
I
right.
think that's
Right,
important.
factual things.
If we've come to a consensus on that, we can just say, when it comes to this, we've already done, but thank you. I think it's important.
And I think you can discuss that, Linda, when you do your opening,
Mhm.
as you did last week, that, we have not taken 100 votes. We've come to consensus on the majority of the things that we've discussed. It's a good 2-hour meeting. I think it'll be good, be robust. Hopefully we'll get some people there. We had a back and forth on, should we provide some of those handouts? For people who may just show up and not have gone to the website to
Sure.
see the red line.
I think 25 handouts might cover it, and we'll, it's 29 pages plus it's 30 pages total. We'll do double-sided
Yeah.
to keep the cost down.
I'll be tickled if we get 25 people.
Me too.
Yeah.
If we
Question.
plan for
Mhm.
25, we'll get 50. If we plan for 50, we'll get
25,
25.
right, exactly. So then if that's the case, you can share. Share with your neighbor.
Question, which is
I got a question.
brief description of said topics 1 to 6. Who is going to do the brief description?
That I could do that, but I'll need some help with that.
Okay,
In trying to,
got
I might need your help with that.
Sure.
Or come up with
You
how,
can come up with we can come up with a script.
a script.
So
It's
you're
gonna
the
be a
one who would
script.
be saying, this topic is, this is where we are,
Yeah.
this is what we're proposing for the following reasons, blah, 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 blah.
We could throw it
Got
up on the big screen, but we thought maybe having handouts might be better.
I think it would be.
Yeah, so we'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely need help with that, and I can probably facilitate that.
And I would leave those as limited as possible,
Yes,
in terms of the descriptions and of what it is and the scripting of that. It's town administrator versus manager.
And there's a possibility no one gets up to even
Right.
speak to that.
Right.
And that might just, and then we move on. So we're gonna give 15 minutes to each if anyone has any concerns. But if no one gets up for that, then,
Well, somebody inevitably is gonna ask the question of what does that mean in terms of powers?
And that's where the discussion of
yeah,
factually.
factual, yeah.
Right. There's no difference in the responsibilities of it.
It's well, there is no, whatever differences there are, the differences that are outlined either in the charter or via the contract that the town has.
And that's the factual basis of the discussion.
Yes.
And leave it, and then just let it, that's what it is.
I would even state that at the lead-in, just because you know that.
For that, yeah.
Question is going to be in people's minds, so
Yeah.
So we
get
can
it
work
off
with you
the
on that,
table.
in terms of, what you wanna do for each of those.
Yep.
As an explanation.
I think that's good. We can work on that.
Yeah.
That's
If we
fine.
could do that, to come up with a script, that'd be great.
Why don't you take a crack at a script,
I'll take a crack at it.
and then we can talk about
Sure.
it rather than,
I help you.
Yeah.
you two take a crack at the script.
And then Linda,
Sounds
in your intro, it's very similar to what you did for the select
Yeah.
board. It's
Yeah.
gonna be an intro, then introduce the members, and then we'll, I'll go to the discussion of the format,
Mm-hmm.
and then step 3 will be given the brief descriptions. Whether we decide to run through all 6 of them first, or do obviously one at a time. And then the 4th will be the open public comment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the last 30 minutes. So if we're doing 6 topics, 15 minutes each, we'll have 30 minutes at the end. Now, like I said, if the town administrator, if that is short, then we can move the meeting up. But either way, the last 30 minutes is for open comment on any topic.
And I think we should come to an agreement on a format of that. If open comment period, one person shouldn't take 30 minutes. We limit that to a certain amount of time and no more than twice on the topic.
How about we have something like they do at town meeting that each person gets 3 minutes
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
speak.
So 3 minutes
Yeah.
to speak.
And then they
3
can speak-
minutes is a long time.
and
It is. That would be 10, people
Yes,
speaking.
that's 10 people speaking,
Okay.
so
All right, so I'll add that.
3 minutes is not,
And I think it's gonna be interesting because I predict that the biggest bone of contention that people will have with this charter, if we say town manager, will be that.
That's what I'm looking forward to, just to see what people
what
think.
do they think?
What do they
I
think?
have a feeling the rest of it is probably not even,
I don't know, Compliance Commission, I've heard from enough people that they're uchi on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, as I understand that.
It'd be, so I think,
But they're also all of the same people who complain when things aren't going right.
But here's the thing, this is where in the discussion of, when we talk about compliance commission, it is not someone trying to police everything that happens. It is complaint-based, that 10 people have to agree to file a complaint and just go right through the process that we've discussed. No
Mhm.
pro or cons, this is what we have discussed.
Yeah, just laying it down. I think what you said tonight about, it's not like we're creating a board that's gonna run
Right.
around and watch
Right.
meetings from 10 years ago and find if you did something wrong.
On that.
So I thought that was, even though you know where I stand on the compliance commission, but I thought that was interesting to hear, so.
and I think that is just telling people that's what you're talking about, that you're not talking about going around and with a big net,
Yeah.
that it's really gonna be based on the public has to have a comment.
Sounding board.
It's a sounding board, just see if we can,
Yeah.
how can we do that? You had a question?
I have a question, it's more of a formatting question.
Sure.
On the 25 handouts you're gonna get, what are you proposing it to look like? And to Mr. Nickerson's comment last week,
It's gonna be the full
Some
red
of our
line.
drafts have
Which
been
red
hard
line?
to follow, hard to follow for
Revised.
me to follow.
It's a revised
It's
red
good.
line.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a true red line, but without comments. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Right.
a pure, just red line.
So it'll be something, I guess, similar to what
Right, exactly.
Linda
Something
has
like that.
here.
Yeah.
Just a very clean one, because some of our drafts
No,
are
but again, and this
all
is,
over the place.
everything's gonna
Yeah,
be
I got
updated.
ones with
Okay.
You know,
columns on the side with
I-
comments
But
in
Linda-
it from,
Can I ask, is that possible to have a clean red line by that meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Because what I did over the
Good. I mean,
weekend, because I
that's-
had nothing else to do, is I went through the red line we had, and I started making all the notes where things have to change, the places where something should be capitalized. I've got all kinds of notes of what is supposed to be in here, so I'm okay with that.
And the agenda will have the 6 topics in there. So obviously,
Right,
someone can see the agenda, like, oh, you're talking about these 6, and there's an open, public comment at the end for 30 minutes, so
What I would
we'll have that listed.
What I would suggest is the legislate both the spring and fall town meeting, we do not have that in any of this draft at all.
Well, we should put it in there.
But
I don't know.
But it's an open.
Because we're not on agreement with
It's an
No,
open
it could
topic.
be open.
And we said that, we would wait till we hear from the public on that.
before we did it.
So that's why it needs to be on the agenda as an open topic, and that's, you
Yeah.
can talk about it as, said, quote-unquote, open topics. We wanna add that open in, because those are areas that we've been discussing. Linda can do that in her introduction, as she did last week, to say, these are still the open topics
Well,
that,
compliance is basically still an open topic.
right, and they're all open.
Yeah.
I would
So I
like
don't-
to-
I
would
don't
like
think-
to have
Yeah.
a conversation about that before we
Okay.
quit.
We will, because I have it on the agenda to do that, to talk about.
I guess a bigger question, you know, the 6 topics that we have, is there anything that
Yeah.
someone thought to add, or when we present to the select board was sufficient?
No, because we don't want to get into capital outlay, that's a little too in the weeds. I
Okay.
We have the capital plan on
We have
that.
the capital
Yeah.
plan on
Do
there.
we need to? I
Well,
think it's a little, I mean, the people that we needed to sort that out was
What was it?
players
It's just,
and that. I don't think the general.
well, there was no
community's-
support of that on select, I'm just going over Linda's notes.
Right,
So there's a couple of things that, you know,
well, I'm just thinking that
Oh, I'm
this is
sorry, I was reading
something
something
that.
There was support.
no, I'm sorry, I was reading the compliance.
Compliance is no
Sorry.
support.
Oh, well, compliance,
Um,
yeah, that was interesting. No, what I'm suggesting is that the whole capital plan is a little bit too in the weeds. And I'm not sure
I
that
can see
it's.
that, yeah, I can see holding that.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, if
But
you.
this could be a good opportunity to get the, you know, the plan, the budget and the plan,
Okay.
and find that.
I know,
So,
because I know over the years I've heard,
it is
is it a
confusing.
capital plan, is it a capital budget?
Yeah, it makes sense to me, but it's just a nice,
It-
first hearing it, it doesn't.
It's a big change, though, I
Yeah.
mean, so.
It is a big change.
And a lot of towns don't do it. A lot of towns just have it as an
Right.
appendage to
Mm.
the
I found,
budget.
I found that interesting.
I did
Yeah.
find it
Yeah.
interesting. That makes sense to me.
It
Yeah,
does make
What
sense to
Martha
me
was
too.
saying, it all makes sense to me.
So the handout is going to be the red line draft, well, draft 2, I should say, because no, we haven't been posting red lines,
every week,
draft
yeah.
6, draft 7, every single week. We haven't been doing that. That's too much work for me.
And I could put it on the big screen. It's not hard to do. It's very easy to do that.
I'm not a big fan.
If more than
Yeah.
25 people show up, I have a way I could do it very quickly.
Yeah.
So you just, it's very easy to share my screen immediately. I could sign into the meeting.
And we're having it in there.
Yep, but I've done it before, just sharing my screen, which is it's very easy to do if we have over 25.
Yeah.
Actually, I
I
think
think the capital plan is a good one. I mean, we're talking about, you know, capital
Right now, it's on the
plan.
list
Yeah.
to discuss.
I personally would like to see it on there, but.
Well, and again, if
I think
there's
the
no
boat example
comment,
is a
there's
great
no-
example for people to understand. so.
Herb makes a great point. If no one discusses it, we're not gonna bring it up.
Right.
And if no one wants to discuss it, we'll move on.
Yeah.
Right,
to
we'll say,
compliance.
this is one of the topics.
Right.
Any
Fair enough.
comments? Great, go.
Yeah, but we've heard from some people, well, town manager's a big deal. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
If people are there and we hear nothing, that's not a big deal. Yeah, we may, hope to God, we get 25 people.
What do you think we'll get
Who
for
knows?
attendance?
My
I don't
gut,
know.
we'll probably get 15, 20 max.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think we'll see a lot of the same folks
I was
we've
gonna
seen
say,
before.
I bet we know them all.
I think one of the things we're gonna have to be prepared on is, we've had topics over the past 46 weeks that are not charter topics.
Hmm.
You know, we spent a lot of time talking about how do we get people more engaged and more involved. That's not a charter topic. So we're going to have to be, you're gonna have to be mindful that when someone starts talking about something,
It's not.
that's not a
Relevant.
charter topic.
And
You know, we're gonna have to be mindful of
Like
that.
when Jim was talking about the ethics.
right.
Right, ethics.
Mm.
Ethics are not a charter topic.
And I'm gonna make a suggestion.
State-
And this, Brendan, this is, you're gonna have to do some policing. I do think we're gonna see a lot of the same people we've seen.
Mhm.
I would love to hear from people we haven't seen before.
Me
You know,
too.
and if someone gets up to speak, and if it's a person we've heard from 3 times, that you
Well,
select
yeah.
people we haven't seen. You know, this is to hear from people we haven't heard from, if you can do it.
How
Hmm.
realistic is it to get a red line copy in time to include it with the publicity about the meeting?
Well, if,
We got roughly 3
I
weeks.
mean, if I can spend, I should have it, I will have it before that. I'm not gonna have it for next week.
So,
No, no,
yeah,
no.
Because
you'll-
next week, we're gonna look at it and read through it.
Well, I'm thinking,
So we wanna be
I'm
2 weeks out
I'm
on the
thinking the week-
publications?
thinking the week before.
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh,
Yeah,
the week
minimum.
Oh,
before,
yeah.
yeah,
So if I'm putting it up on these
Yeah.
Facebook
because that would,
pages, that I can include a link to the.
So, like-
well,
copy.
what it'll be, because it'll definitely be posted with the agenda for June 18th,
Yep,
June
talking
18th.
about here,
Yep,
but it'll be available the week before.
okay.
so in your June
Should be.
14th Sunday update, when you do it, you can include it then, or
No,
link to it?
no, this is gonna be a whole separate post.
Okay, that's fine,
I'm not sharing space with the select board on Sunday morning.
that's fine.
Will be probably the week before with a couple
That's
of
great.
reminders to the week.
And if, and what you can say is you can start, some of the publicity now can be, you know,
That's my plan.
So
you
by
know,
June 4th? So maybe that Monday, the
Oh,
8th?
yeah, I don't know about you,
So-
being,
No,
today's,
I wanna do a mark your calendar
Right,
for
right,
such and such
right.
and such.
No, yes, our next
More-
meeting
more
is the
information
4th.
to follow.
right,
So I think what we can publicize, the easiest thing to publicize is the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
without tying in the link right now.
yes.
So if we do an agenda with public meeting on the charter update,
Well, I don't need an agenda for that, to write a post that just says, this is what's
No,
gonna
that's
be
fine.
happening, and
Yeah,
there'll
I
be
can
an
say some
agenda
bullets.
and a red line copy will be available.
The week before,
and some of us can
The
post as well.
week before,
Yeah.
yes, the
And
week
whatever you do, we
before.
can
So that'd be the
suggest you
11th.
share it.
Yeah.
which will be our second meeting from
Well,
today.
actually, it'd be the, yeah, and the agenda would be actually posted on the 12th for the 18th.
I'll do
Okay.
it, then I'll
Yeah,
post
you
it.
can share it
Yeah.
all day long. You can copy and paste it, or you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
put up your own thing
Yeah.
on your own pages,
But it-
whatever.
it'll-
And I will make sure that Natasha, who's been she's been so good to us.
I think she's good to everybody.
But she's just been terrific for us.
Good girl.
That she put the draft red line on our webpage. She can put the revised one on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's great.
It'll be on the webpage when, the 11th?
Probably sooner than that. No,
Well,
the 11th, that's.
Linda has to do it.
I know, yeah, but it is,
You know, remember Linda has to do
Here,
this.
you don't need to sleep.
Okay.
Only suggested.
It will definitely be
That ain't
available.
all it's cut out to be.
What are you comfortable with, Linda, that you think will be ready?
I think the 6/11 date is a good
That's
date.
great, that's a week in advance if people have
Plenty of
time.
time.
Yeah, plenty of time.
because what's on there now is a rough, would be the final one anyway.
Because there's some odds and ends of cleanup.
Yeah.
And
There's a
Mostly
couple of
cleanup, yeah.
places where it seems to be green instead of red.
Linda,
So,
I'll figure that out.
the spring and fall town meeting and the compliance are not in the red line copy at all.
They are not, no.
So, what do we say about those in publicity, or are we just wait and hold it until we get?
red line edition plus open topics that have not been decided.
I can put,
Simple.
the first red line that we put out had 5 pages of open topics. And it had how to,
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I'm not sure I'd do that.
I think those are the two important ones that we most need the feedback on, if anybody has any.
Mm.
Okay, so simple, you post the red line, which is clean,
Mhm.
none of that other stuff that was there.
Yep,
Post the red line, and in the publicity, we're discussing our red line changes and the 2 very popular topics of a spring and fall town meeting and charter compliance.
it's compliance, because it's not just charter, it's also bylaws.
Compliance. So
Those are
compliance.
those are two
That's fine.
topics that
So-
are open.
Right, those are the open, and I think that will trigger enough response.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's the way to
Changes
do it.
as with to date on the red line, which can be found, and the 2 most important open items to discuss. Is that good?
Good,
Mhm.
okay.
You good with
So
that?
anything,
I am good.
anything I might have to talk about this can wait till after the meeting, actually, it doesn't matter. at the
What's that,
moment.
the compliance?
All I was gonna suggest is just as a general statement, because there seems to be a need to soften this, is that the draft that I gave out, just kill that last paragraph.
Yeah,
Let me see.
that's something I would say,
Yeah,
whether
Just
it's,
take it out.
whether it's add 50 people and just
The
get rid of
Mike
the last,
McCaskill one?
the last paragraph.
No,
yeah,
Or
well,
20 people, whatever the
this
number
the-
is.
whatever the
Oh,
number
the
is,
draft.
So take that whole take that
That
out.
whole last paragraph out, because if
It's
it
in my
turns
book.
out that.
The
people-
Superior Court paragraph.
That it becomes,
Okay.
that it becomes sort of a big deal that somebody's done something egregious and they refuse to do anything about it, then that would maybe be grounds for a future bylaw charter review committee to add.
Or something else, or
They need to.
whatever, yep.
Yeah,
Okay, so so we'll do that.
Linda?
I don't
Yo.
wanna scare people to death.
Did you send that out, Sandy, or did Linda?
That got sent out like weeks ago.
I know, but I remember seeing it, but I don't know where it's at, so, thank you.
We have time for public comment.
We do, but I have a couple of other things.
Oh,
Because we
that's
can
right.
always stay
Well, we have a
longer than
vacancy.
8
That's
That's
o'clock,
fine, I'm
Richard.
perfectly fine,
Yeah,
just,
there's no game
Hey, don't-
tonight, I guess.
No game tonight.
What about the vacancy
Okay.
discussion?
Vacancy discussion.
Okay.
I mean, state law does say shall replace,
Mm-hmm.
but it also says that we can continue working while we have a vacancy, which is good, because you continue our work. It does say shall, and we have made a big honking deal about shall in this committee.
Mhm.
So I'm revisiting, asking you to revisit the vacancy issue. And how do we deal with it? Because if we ask, because we probably should, you know, by rights, it says we shall vote somebody on. At this time, it's really hard to put someone on. But maybe there are one or two people out there who have been watching all the meetings and would come on and actually be a participant.
Yeah.
Because I know we don't want to do 46 weeks' worth of work again. So it's got to be somebody who's coming in at the tail end and understanding they're coming in at the tail end.
Yeah, and I think that'd be a requirement too. You'd have to watch all 46 meetings.
Yeah, did you watch the meetings? Do you know what we've
I
been
mean, I
talking
came in
about?
short. I was able to do it because it wasn't all that many, and so for me it was easier. But
Oh, yeah,
now
to
you're
go through. Yeah.
46 meetings deep. You'd have to be prepared, and I'm not saying
That's huge.
someone may not come to the table, or maybe someone is watching.
Richard?
and because we haven't taken votes, I'm not looking for votes of reconsideration
That's
on
right.
anything that we've done. And I think whoever comes in, because we would have to interview,
Yes, we'd have to
as a
interview.
board, is to say, you're coming in, we're not gonna go back and revisit things that we talked in week 3, week 4. We're not gonna go back and redo the consensus items that we have at this date. This is, you're coming in from this date, moving forward. That would be my,
Yeah.
So then I can therefore say to the public that we are looking to fill that position. If you're interested, let me know.
Yeah. Same as before.
Does it have
Should
to
I
be
go to the select board's meeting Monday night
Yeah.
and make that public announcement?
see, we were listening at our listening session last
We
Does it have-
listened and we acted.
We did.
Woohoo!
Does it have to be advertised at all?
No,
No.
there's no
okay.
requirement to advertise
But
it.
if you go to the select board meeting, that's a good.
That's
Bill-
an
No, I think
Bill
it's
will
good.
pick it up.
I've asked a couple people and they said no. So,
Because it's,
it's too hard to catch up.
right, to catch up. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
One could catch up, but if it's.
but somebody would have to put in a ton of effort, over a
And
couple
here's
of
the thing,
weeks.
do you wanna get on and say, well, I'd like to talk
Be
about
burnt
the
out by the
subject
time
that we
you-
talked
Yeah, you don't want
about
that.
6 months ago?
No, I know, yeah.
Look what, unless somebody comes up with something we haven't thought of before,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they can get a couple of, describe it, and the rest of the group either decides to revisit it or not.
Mhm.
Still pretty much a democracy, even though I'm here.
Well said.
All right,
Probably best.
we're good.
We'll
That's
deal
what I
with it.
had. Next meeting,
Oh,
and then
public
I'll
comment.
get,
Yeah,
I
so
have,
almost
I
up.
understand. I heard that the first time. I think next week's meeting is probably if we can be looking at scripts
Yeah,
and get that finalized,
I can work on that.
I think that would be good, so we can have that a
Is Jay
plan.
and Jen coming in next week?
And Jay and Jen are next week.
And just as a reminder for those who didn't see, there's supposedly, and I don't know if it's still happening, an employee cookout the 4th from 1 to 4 p.m.
It's not for us.
We're special employees.
No, but they were looking for committee members to help serve. Seriously.
Oh.
It's at Brooks Park from 1 to 4 p.m. It's an employee cookout,
What day?
Oh, that's
Thursday, June 4th.
Lodge.
Thursday, June 4th.
We can wear big signs that
What
say,
time?
charter.
1 to 4 p.m.
That's good.
So they're allowing them out of work at 1 p.m. If you don't go to the cookout, you don't get to leave work early.
Guess everybody will be at the cookout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll
So
be
they
good.
were just, they're looking for some folks to help
Yeah.
out,
I'll try and be there.
So,
Yeah, team building events.
yeah. I'll be happy to cook.
Good idea.
Yeah.
unless it's raining. So,
Okay, so we'll,
Will you put up the
we'll work over the next bit
Yeah.
on some kind of scripting stuff. You two can work on some
That's fine.
scripting
Sure.
stuff, that we can work on it. And next week will be scripts
Yep.
and Jay and Jen to talk
Great.
about
Excellent.
this, who reports to whom,
Yep.
blah, 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 how to
Awesome.
work with that.
That's great.
Mr.
Robert, you wanna come up?
Mr. Bob, would you
Yeah.
like to come up?
So,
Why don't you come up,
You gotta come up.
table,
So you get,
so we can hear you.
so the, we can, it gets caught
Grab
up.
a comfy chair.
well, one thing I would suggest is you had this information you talked about, I think it should have been online, so if somebody wanted to come like this to the meeting and know what you were talking about on that last page would be beneficial in the future. So, but, one of the things I wanted to bring up is when, the long-term plan group, they had many, many public meetings. So I think that you might want to consider not just having one, but if you're trying to sell what you're trying to do, you might want to go with more than one. So they did, it was unbelievable.
You're talking the
published it.
LCP?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, they reached out to the public a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just throwing that out there.
Mhm.
Let's see, the other thing was, and now I lost it since I've been waiting so long. Okay, so as far as the document, I have been trying to look at it, and I know it takes a lot to get it all done. I think you're gonna have a real challenge with 1 week and people coming in and know what they're actually gonna have read
I'll
it.
do the best I
I
can,
know,
Bob.
I'm not trying to be up, I'm just saying is,
I get
be
it.
prepared. I mean, if you walk in the room and go up there with bullets and this is the changes we're making, no one is gonna be able to absorb that quickly.
Well, we gotta start somewhere, though.
We gotta start
That's why
somewhere.
It's really
that's
a
why
start,
I'm
yeah.
saying multiple meetings,
Mm.
okay?
Well, we'll do the best we can, because we'll have this, because we also have to spend time this summer writing the report for the state. So there's other things at play here.
But if you're writing a report for the state, don't you want to have something that you think is 100% passable? Or not?
I'm not gonna get into whether or not it's
Okay.
passable or not. We're
Okay.
doing our job.
Okay.
To be fair, we've had 46 publicly posted meetings.
I know that.
And nothing has prevented anyone from coming. We've invited the world.
Every single one of
Every-
our minutes have been posted.
Linda and Richard have been to the select board numerous
Yeah,
times.
We've been to the select
right,
board
yeah.
numerous times. We had the select board, the joint meeting, that was all public, talking about this.
I think to the local comprehensive plan, it was so comprehensive and so many moving parts that there was a whole lot to explain. I think our problem or position or job is more conceptual in nature, to find out how people will feel about certain changes. And it'll be recorded. We can post the link to the recording a gazillion times, but there is a limited amount of time that we have to complete what we have to do.
If push comes to shove, we could always do another public meeting or something.
Yeah, if we could squeeze one in,
And- and-
absolutely.
So,
I
I
okay.
would suggest something in August.
Yeah, and Bob,
Because we
I,
have the preliminary report has to be to the state
Yeah.
in September.
We
Okay.
could do that.
And it's essentially the
So,
completed
that's fine,
document.
we can just drop that for now. So the last comment I'll make is I sent some stuff to Linda, did you share that with everybody that I sent to you?
The
She
town
did.
manager, yes, I
Yeah.
did.
Okay. So my question is that of any value to you? Because I have other towns.
I got mine yesterday morning. I have not even had time to
So,
read
yeah,
it.
but the point is, I'm not gonna spend hours and hours getting all this information if you already have in your mind what your decision is about how you wanna handle proposed, let's say, town manager. And I think, my position and your position is probably not the same. It's not just erasing administrator and put in manager. And if you look at all this stuff that I have been sending you, there's some very well-defined tasks they're responsible for. And those tasks are not equal to what's going on as an administrator. So my question to you is, I have probably 5 or 10 more, let's say, sets of data that I can send, but I don't want to send it if you're not interested in looking at it.
is it all pertaining to that?
Yes.
The town manager?
And we did have a pretty, we had a pretty good memo from Anthony on how many towns have town manager versus town administrator. You know, the whole idea that an administrator is almost a secretarial,
Right.
I don't wanna call it that, but
Yeah, that's
that kind of a role. And a town manager is actually the operational side, so.
Right, but the point is the town manager and those cities, those towns, are embedded in this document with their job.
So 10 of
So
them.
it's
And we are
critical for, if you're gonna do this, to propose those, and you'd wanna look at, if I would wanna look at 5 or 6 different towns to see what they have in there. It's a lot of work.
And I
So
think- and
if
we
you,
did do some of that work, Bob,
Yeah.
you know, back in the beginning.
okay, well, it's not,
Bob.
I don't know that because I haven't seen it, so that's why I did it.
I got what you sent. Actually, yesterday afternoon was the first time I saw it on my mail. I've had no time to read any of
Okay.
it, so I have no idea what you've done.
Okay.
So to ask me whether it's worth doing more, I couldn't begin to answer that
Okay.
until I see what you've sent us.
And I'll just speak personally, I have seen enough between the consultant and what we've gone through that I don't want to have you spend that much time going. I've pretty much made up my mind of where I feel on it, based on the data I've received both from our consultants, from our discussions here. So I think it would be a waste for more data to come in on that particular
On that
topic.
particular topic.
Right, if you have other areas of topics, I'm happy to see it.
It was
Okay.
great, it's great that you know that 10 of the 15 towns have the word
Right.
manager, and that, do you want to see what the responsibilities listed in the charter?
Well,
Is it in your second paragraph?
That's what I'm saying,
you
I say,
said.
I would go back to each charter in each of those 10 cities, and I'd say, look, they may all look the same, they don't,
Mhm.
and to see what you think are key that you would want to put in the charter for this town. That's where I was
Well, I
coming
think
from.
we've
And
more or less
the
done that.
Chatham one has virtually nothing in their chart.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Well-
and that's why I gave you the
Yeah.
range of it, everyone is a little different.
Yeah.
I did read them all. I did look at all
And I
4
did too.
Yeah, I did
towns
too,
that
yeah.
Mhm.
submitted. Falmouth, Chatham, Barnstable, and Providence.
Right, I just sent 4
Yeah.
right away.
And
I have
All 4 of those were very similar to what we have in our current charter. The only thing that was different, that we don't have in our charter, which is in those 4 charters, is that the selectmen in Harwich appoint the fire chief and policeman. The other 4 towns, it's left up to the town manager to do
Right.
that. With the approval of the select board within 10, Chatham was 10 days, the other 3 towns were 15 days approval. If the selectmen didn't approve it, then it by default became hired by the town. So there was a very little difference between our charter and the other town charters. That was the only major difference I found, was that Harwich appoints the fire chief and selectmen by, fire chief and police chief by selectmen do that. And we actually have, our town administrator, manager, has a little bit more authority than some of these town managers' authority.
Mhm.
So,
Didn't Jay say that he actually has more
Yeah.
authority as town
so it's kind of a
administrator
balance.
under this charter than he had as town manager?
Right,
One
exactly.
of the-
Previous town.
One of the
I
interesting
found that
things
interesting.
was Falmouth, in their town charter, and I think Patrick Otter brought it up during the meeting last week, was the local comprehensive plan was embedded in the town charter.
Good.
That it's a guiding light for the town manager to follow all his decisions. He has to take into consideration the local planning thing. So I thought it was very
That
interesting to
sounds
see.
Bob, you prefer the word manager
to see-
in your,
I prefer-
in your research?
Well, I think the manager makes it more important, but I think it needs to be, in my opinion, it has to be somebody that's really up a step from what I always have seen as administrator. And
Okay.
maybe it's because I didn't read it all, but beforehand, as far as looking at balancing this and that. But the other part of it is, I think we need to, I would want to take a little bit, I hate to say, of the select board's, not power, but their direction, to focus on the future of the town more, long-term, and less on day-to-day mucking around with stuff.
Well, that's
Just, you know,
exactly
we
what
had-
we've
That's-
been
that's
discussing.
in the earlier
Substantial
discussions,
about
yeah.
that. That was some of our first
In the early,
2-month
yeah.
meetings, exhaustive discussions on that.
Yeah, your
And
meetings
we
in
arrived
September, October.
at the same conclusion.
Right.
It is, we call it as giving them more white space,
Right.
you know, to do more visioning, to do more,
Policy.
you know,
I mean, why
planning.
are they approving liquor license?
So we had all those
Because they are
discussions,
the-
you know,
because they are the
because they're the
local-
licensing authority.
They are the
They-
licensing
I
authority.
know,
But
but
they
that's why,
can-
that's why the change would come, in my opinion. And I haven't been involved with this as much as you have,
Right.
obviously, I got more involved.
And that's my point of,
That's-
to be honest with you, someone coming on, that was the first 2 months, those discussions. And we had the interim town administrator, Mr. Scavian here,
Right,
talking about that and giving them, the select board, more time to plan. And we use the example of what the town budget's gonna be in the next 3 to 5 years.
Mhm.
You know, planning what's gonna happen with that, and then taking some of the mundane tasks, as you might think of, and delegating those out to the town
Well,
administrator.
didn't they just turn a liquor hearing over to
Correct.
Jay to handle rather than the board?
And they have a right to do that.
Yeah.
They're the
Right.
authority,
right.
but they can also
Delegate.
delegate that authority to someone else. And that's the whole idea of the planning. So, great points.
Yeah.
I don't think we need any more data to revisit those
Okay.
discussions that we had.
That's great for me. 'cause
Yeah,
I-
no,
We're
I
on the same
agree.
page.
But if there are
Same
things,
page with that.
Bob, in the other areas of the charter, go right ahead. I think it's great. The more input we have,
I
the
thought,
better.
I thought it was very informative, Bob, I
Yeah,
really
yeah.
did.
But I just
I'll take
don't,
it.
I don't want to relitigate what we
I
did
think what
back in May
it
of last
did
year.
is it reinforced what we had talked about 10 months
Right.
ago.
Yeah.
It really did.
It
Exactly.
really did. It reinforced for me, yeah, this is all the stuff
Yeah.
we've been talking, we talked about then. And yes,
And-
it really, so it was helpful.
It was.
And look at the selectmen's agenda, select board's agenda for Monday night.
Yeah,
More than half of it is licensing, appointing policemen,
yeah.
Right.
the stuff we've talked about, is giving that authority to the
Right.
town and
Right.
manager.
Well, you know,
One of
we're
the-
not seeing all those changes yet, because again, I'm not trying to beat her up, but it's hard to get all that in
But
there.
you-
Understood,
And to
right?
know
Yeah.
where you are.
Right.
The fact
We
of the
do
matter,
have
though,
on-
is within the context of a meeting, the licensing and the appointments really don't take up much time, and they're not doing the underlying work on it anyway.
Right.
That's
The
true.
office is doing it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't see that taking any of that, I mean, they can delegate it if they want to, but, you know, mandating taking it away and giving to somebody else isn't gonna save them more than about 20 minutes a week.
I don't think anyone's talking
And we-
about mandate. It's just giving them, they have the right to
They
delegate.
have it
And we
anyway.
have, we have agreed
Right.
on
Yeah.
section 352
Yeah.
to adding in, the select board shall have the power to delegate the
Right.
issuance
Yeah.
of licenses to
Right.
the town manager. All such decisions shall be subject to ratification by the select board.
Yeah,
Which is basically what goes on.
yeah, so.
So, because yes, all
I
the
guess
work
que-
of, yeah,
The question becomes, which things does the select board do that eat up lots and lots of time that they might not need to do? Things that really use up time, that's what my question. I'm not looking for an answer right now, but I think it's worth thinking about. What do they do that uses up time that they don't need to be doing?
Mhm.
that's a good question.
I'll have a few suggestions for you.
I'm sure, I think it would be worth
For someone who
having
monitors
those
them.
conversations, yeah.
There are some things there.
Yeah.
It's, I'll just, for example, I don't think every select board member needs to comment on every issue that comes
I
before the
would
board.
totally agree with that.
You know, and if I'm a
Unfortunately.
chair and I'm running a meeting, is there any discussion?
Yep.
I don't need to go, Linda, John, Herb,
Yeah, I think
Bob,
when that
Brenda.
started-
You don't need to ask for input. If people don't have input, you're a leader. If you have input, make the input. If you
Plus,
don't,
Plus, it becomes a
Lead.
little pointed when somebody doesn't have any input, to be put on the spot to say, do you have input, when you really don't, because either you don't have enough information, you
Right.
really don't care about that issue all that much,
right,
because there's plenty of those.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are, again, there are a few of those out there, but again, I'm one who monitors the
Yeah,
meetings.
I
so
want, I want something new, if you got something to say that hasn't been said
Right.
before, I'd like to hear that.
I don't wanna hear the word echo ever again.
Hmm.
I wanna echo.
Oh, God.
All right, well, thank you.
Bob,
Thanks for
thank you,
coming.
and we
Thank
appreciate,
you.
we do appreciate the input. I think it's
No,
great.
I really
Yeah.
enjoyed reading it.
As you can see,
Yeah.
we made
Get
notes on
more
your,
to come.
on your comments.
Not more to come from me, bye.
No, no, with you.
Madam Chair?
We're with you.
Everybody, anything else?
Is there anything else
No.
from the group?
Motion to adjourn.
Person to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
8:30, you made it to 8:13 there, Richard.
I think we're done.